Welcome to another episode of Nerds Amalgamated. I'm the DJ, and with me today I have Devi Boy and the Professor.
Boy.
What's going on, Devi Boy?
He's turned into a Pokemon.
Boy.
Quick, Professor, catch him with your Pokemon Go.
I don't even have that at the moment. My phone broke. I ordered the replacement parts, and Australia Post said it's delivered. Never turned up.
Boy.
Quick, he's getting away.
I'm back. No, pretty good. Finished uni, and now I'm just like, what have I done with my life? So, well, not finished uni yet, but yeah, finished summer holidays, So it's kind of like that.
See,
that limbo.
See, the way you say that, like, what am I doing with my life? You make it sound like some anime protagonist, like, what am I doing with my life?
No, that was a reference to something else. I don't know. I think Professor might have picked up on it, though. Did he pick up on it all? Did you pick up on that?
Kinda. My mind's kind of shy at the moment, so you have to fill me in.
Oh, it's part from a music video. Talking Heads.
Yes. This is not my beautiful wife. This is not my large automobile. How did I get here?
Yeah. So I keep saying, what? Yeah, how did I get here? What am I doing with my life? Yeah, okay, I completely stuffed up that quote. Good on me. God damn, it's not, how did I get here? No, what am I doing with my life? They're basically go hand in hand, though, that music video. Anyways, I ramble too much.
I was thinking more Metal Gear Solid, like, why are we here? Where are we
true, right, yeah. Reference a lot of things.
How about you, Professor? How have you been?
Mostly the usual work, sleep, eat, and having lots of fun with people who don't realize you can't print in color on a black and white printer.
How long did it take for him to figure it out?
About a minute. Once I explained it to them.
Before you came in, I bet you must have looked at him and go like, "Look at that man."
Yeah. When I got the ticket and I pulled up in the notes and I was like, yeah, that site has a black and white printer. I was just like, are you kidding me? But no, I try not to do that too much. Because my job's to help the people. I don't want to upset the people and scare them away.
I can imagine, like, you, Professor, just one day you just snap and just go, you know what? I am done with this. I'm getting out of here. And if anyone wants to stop me, prepare yourself.
Yeah, if I did that, I definitely wouldn't be getting the annual award. Speaking of awards, DJ, what's our first topic?
Our first topic is the 2020 Game Award nominations that dropped today.
There we go. My segues are so good I can even do them when it's not my week.
Flippin' neat. Okay, so a lot of awards this year. I think it's some new categories. I can't actually tell, but quite like, what is it? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9. So it's like 18, 17 categories or something. But I mean, the one we all care about is Game of the Year. So this year we got Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Animal Crossing, Hades, sorry, and The Last of Us Part 2. So they're our nominations.
Ooh, that's an impressive lineup. Yeah,
I mean, I personally voted for Hades, considering it's an indie game. So an indie game with all the big boys. Always going to vote for the underdog. But what do you guys think?
Oh, personally, I would like to see. My bets are either on Doom Eternal or Tsushima.
I'm kind of surprised. Like Alex gets a couple of other nominations. But
yeah, Alex is not a Game of the Year.
Yeah, it didn't get Game of the Year nomination. So I think it'll probably go to either Ghost of Tsushima or Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, I'm on the same page. You're saying the critics and everything. I think it's Last of Us Part 2 or Ghost of Tsushima. Not that that's my personal opinion. I think Ghost of Tsushima definitely earns it. Last of Us Part 2, I haven't played it myself, so I'm not really going to comment on the whole, madness that's occurred this year over it. But, like, I think Ghost of Tsushima's story, from what I've seen from it, is a superior one. And gameplay-wise as well, I think it's a better game.
But then here's the problem, though. Like with most of these game awards, it's not really viewers' choice kind of thing. It's more of which one got the most positive press.
Is it though? Because this is a community vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you can vote for these. Like right now, I'm signing up 50 additional accounts to vote for Fall Guys. I wouldn't cheat.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they check your IP address anyway.
Probably. I'd hope they would have. Look,
some
knowing
safeguard,
people on the internet, I'd hope they have figured that out by now.
Hey, 4chan, is that a poll? But yeah. So what do you? We've talked about that, and I think I'll be between Ghost of Tsushima or Last of Us Part 2. We'll have to work it out. I do as hell. I don't think it's Game of the Year material. It's fucking amazing, but not Game of the Year. Same as Final Fantasy Remake. Like, it's still a great game, but it's not. It's the first of a few games. It's not a full package. And then Animal Crossing.
I'd say Final Fantasy kind of fell a bit flat.
Yeah.
Like, the beginning seems to be really good, but the end game of the... It's sort of weird saying end game, considering this is only, like, episode 1. But the end game of episode 1, or whatever you're calling this, is a bit weak from what I've heard.
But then I guess we'll move on to Best Game Direction. So once again, we've got Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, and Last of Us Part 2. Now, personally, I've heard of Half-Life Alyx. I think the direction of that game is amazing in the sense of it's not your usual movie direction. It's directing the player through a VR experience, which obviously is a lot more difficult than just throwing camera angles around and doing it effectively as well. So that's why I voted for that one. But yeah, what's your guys' thoughts?
So is that game direction as in like film direction? I thought it was
Award for outstanding creative vision, innovation in the game direction and design.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was more for design.
Yeah.
I think I'd like to see Alyx win that one because from what I've heard, it's by far the best shooter game on VR at the moment.
It's the only AAA experience on VR which feels like a full-fledged AAA video game. And I've played it. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I think everyone's going to be copying it for the next few years.
Valve, as always, sets a trend.
Yeah, I would think Ghost of Tsushima might take this one because even though, okay, we can all say that Ghost of Tsushima is Assassin's Creed on in Japanese times, it still had like some great innovative moments and some great innovative direction in terms of how the narrative of the pacing of the story, the game styles.
Oh no, I agree. I like it. Who was it made by? Was it maybe Ubisoft? I mean, it's maybe it's Sucker Punch Studios, of course, but
yeah.
Is it
Sucker Punch and Sony?
Okay, Sony himself. So yeah, it's. I was about to say. I mean, it's not your average Ubisoft, flipping open world adventure game, right? Like the Assassin's Creed and stuff. Like it switches it up a lot. So yeah, I agree. But on to the next one, keep things going, so we don't take like a million years for these 18 categories. Best narrative. So we got 13 Sentinels, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, and Last of Us Part 2. Now, my personal went to Final Fantasy VII Remake, and that's simply because of the fact they did something different with the narrative. They really outdid themselves in terms of like pushing it to new levels. It don't feel like the end game. I think they've really expanded on what it was a narrative people were not expecting, basically. And I think they did a good job with that. And you can say the same thing about Last of Us Part 2, but you know what I mean?
See, with Last of Us Part 2... Oh, sorry.
I think narratively, Last of Us was so controversial. From what I've read, I haven't played it, but from what I've read, it's so controversial because it really gets you into the bad guys.
It's not so that. For my reason, okay, the controversial part is because Ellie and Joel die. Well, Ellie doesn't, spoilers, she doesn't. But Joel, of course, dies, blah, blah, blah. But the controversy, my issue with the game, because it's all been spoiled and I've watched the whole playthrough, my issue is it forces you to do despicable things, right? So it forces you to kill this dog, kill this person, then later on it goes, oh, you killed the dog, what a terrible person you are, how could you? You only could have done something different, like
kind of
not kill the dog.
Spec Ops The Line.
Basically, yeah.
It's that whole, it's your choice to do the bad things, but then you get that white phosphorus scene where you have to do it.
And it basically, it does have multiple, it's just like white phosphorus scene to spread it like throughout the whole game. That's the whole game's purpose, is saying, you do bad stuff. Now, how dare you do the bad stuff? But the second you don't do the bad stuff, it forces you to do the bad stuff, gives you a game over. So it's like, it's a video game. And it's just like, if you're doing a narrative video game, don't force a player to do something. It's like, make a movie. That's what you're doing. That's my thoughts, personally, as a designer.
See, with Last of Us Part 2, in terms of narrative-wise, I was watching what I was hearing what Druckmann was trying to point out. He was trying to do the whole revenge is bad, everybody. Revenge is bad, and we're forced to make tough choices in a rough world like this. I mean, it's a bold choice. And also plus Neil Druckmann also likes to put the whole revenge is bad kind of thing.
Yeah,
You have said revenge is bad 3 times in the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, I know.
I think we get the point.
The elements are there for a great story, but the pacing, the setup, and the execution are lacking in terms of compared to the first game, basically.
Oh yeah, I agree. Like even like for that part where Abby kills Joel.
Sorry, guys. Spoilers just out the ears here. I'm so sorry.
I bet you that many people have played this game by now and have gone, eh. But yeah, when Abby kills Ellie's friend, and Ellie decides to go, okay, I'm gonna kill her, and then it comes to that moment, and then he all of a sudden finally says, no, I'm not gonna kill her. That's like you did all this and nothing.
Yeah, I mean,
it's also growing as a character. If you learn that you don't need revenge. It's less of a thing if you've just spent the last hour killing dozens of enemies.
Yeah.
How many games are there where you kill hundreds of enemies, get to the boss, and then you're like, I'm not going to bring myself to your level and leave them alive?
Hi, Uncharted. How many necks have just snapped? But I think it would have worked. Like, I understand the ending is good. The ending is good if you take it out of context of the rest of the game, and that's the issue. I think they just had to. The way they string a plot together just doesn't work, I feel. Like, it had having your players the good and bad guy at the same time and showing they're both equals. That's really cool, but it's not weaved together in a way that's compelling, basically.
Yeah. Like they could have done the whole like Abby, Joel, and Ellie were friends, and all of a sudden Abby decides to backstab him and stuff, or something.
But we're going to move on because otherwise it's going to be like just 11 million hours.
Yeah.
Arguing about Part 2 once more. So on to Best Art Direction. So we have Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Ori, and the new Ori and the Blind Forest sequel, which is Ori and the Will of the Whispers, and Last of Us Part 2.
That's a hard one because Tsushima, Hades, and Ori are all very distinct.
Yes. I personally choose Tsushima, considering it down to it looks fucking beautiful. Last of Us Part 2 also is beautiful, but I don't know. I think Last of Us Part 2 is going to get it, simply because of those root physics. I chose Ghost of Tsushima because I just like the Japanese style they went with, and like the physics and everything works really well in an action game, which is always difficult to do graphically well.
Tsushima was really nicely stylized.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that grass is gorgeous.
Yes, exactly. So that's my personal opinion. But yeah, what do you guys feel?
I'm picking Ori.
Ori?
I've seen playthroughs of that game, and it looks beautiful. It looks really beautiful. Like just the art style, the mechanics of it all. When the tree's burning, you can see the fire, and like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a very unique, and I think the benefit of Ori or the other games, even though I'm going to pick a different one, is I think Ori will never age.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades is a 2D art style, so it won't age. But I think it's quite on the same level as the other games, though. You know, it's really pretty. But Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us Part 2 are all going to age in the next coming years, but Hades and Ori will last forever. But in terms of, like, right now, I think Ghost of Tsushima looks better.
Yeah.
Well, better in the terms of, like, different art. Like, this is why I hate art styles. Art styles are so subjective.
Yeah.
Best score and music. So we got Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Hades, the Ori game again, and Last of Us Part 2. I personally choose Doom Eternal because it's Doom Eternal, man. The music is the game.
Yeah, but there was some real issues with that game soundtrack and how.
Yeah, I mean, the game itself's fine, but the soundtrack ran issues because the composer, I think Mick Gordon. Yeah, so he ran issues because he wasn't keeping up the schedule. So then Bethesda put out a CD which wasn't up to par, and everyone got angry at Bethesda. And Mick Gordon was like, well, I mean, Bethesda's like, well, he never submitted the music to us on time, and it's the contract, so, you know, blah, blah, blah. So it was just the whole, like, you know, mess.
And then Bethesda kicked him out. I'm like, oh, you monsters.
No, I think it's very right on their part. I mean, even though his music's amazing, he didn't keep to the contract. I mean, if you got a certain amount of time to get something done, you can't keep saying you're gonna get the week after, you're gonna do it like a month's time. You gotta get done by the due date, man. I mean, obviously, I think they should give them a little more leeway, but still, I feel like, you got a deadline, and in the AAA development studio, you got to keep up with them. Yeah. But yeah, what do you think, Professor?
I don't really know the soundtracks of any of these well enough to make a call here, I think.
Yeah, no, that's very fair.
If I were to put my money on it, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Because, come on, Final Fantasy VII music was, the soundtrack was to die for back in the day.
True, but the remake, I don't know if it's any different. I mean, also, they were using some of the original songs, but I haven't played it, so I can't really tell. Depends, eh?
Yeah.
Anyways, this was the easier one. So, best audio design. So, we got Doom Eternal, Half-Life Alyx, Ghost of Tsushima, Resident Evil 3, and Last of Us Part 2. I choose Half-Life Alyx simply because the sound effects in that game are amazing. You can hear the sloshing of bottles and stuff, like, everything has a sound effect.
For this one, I could say, I might put Last of Us Part 2 on this one.
Yeah?
Yeah, with the, like, from the walkthroughs I've been seeing, like enemies, how they whistle and stuff. It's just so eerie to look at, and you're like, and the shotgun sounds and the sound, and you can hear the sound of Abby punching a person. He's just like, oh, it's bone crunching.
Yeah, I think it's going to be definitely a tie between those two, especially because both Naughty Dog and Valve have that, that desire to make art and push themselves to the limits, especially in audio design. So it's going to be a close contender, I feel. What do you think, Professor?
Yeah, I'm not sure I can make a call there either.
No, not cool either. Anyway, we'll move on to best performance. So, all right, so best performance is basically best performances video games. So you got Ashley Johnson as Ellie, Lara Bailey as Abby, and then you got Japanese name.
I can do this one. Daisuke Tsuji.
Thank you for Ghost of Tsushima, the main character of that. Logan for Hades inside the game. Love Hades. And
Naji Jeter.
Thank you. Dyslexia kills me. For Miles Morris. I think The Last of Us will take this one. I feel.
Yeah.
I've heard The Last of Us. Like, compared to how controversial the game came out, the performances were still extremely well done. They pushed themselves to the limits. So I think it's going to definitely one of those two.
I'm going to agree with you that I've heard that they have good performances, but that row where they've just got the two screaming characters just reminds me of every App Store game. There's always some screaming character on the...
it's just like these two screaming characters as their portraits in the best performance.
See, I would say Laura Bailey will take this one because she's the big name out of all of them.
Yeah, I think so. I think as well. All right, on to games for game now. We're halfway through now. Games for Impact. Now, I haven't technically played any of these. So we got If Found, Kentucky Route Zero, Spirit Father. But yeah.
Spirit
Fairer, thank you. Tell Me Why, and Through the Darkness of Times. I personally voted for If Found because I looked up in Steam and it looks really nice. I just had to choose one. I didn't really have one I personally was attached to. So what is Games for Impact? So through a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaniness or message. So basically pushing forward in good ways.
Where's your game, Debbie boy? Where's your game?
One day, my friend, one day. But yeah, I can't really make a call. I don't think any of you guys can as well, hey?
No, I haven't played any of these.
No, me neither. Yeah. No.
If Found looks really good, so I recommend having a look at it. It's only got like 200 Steam reviews though, so I think really check it out. Like graphically, it looks lovely, especially the art style and colors. But we're going to best ongoing game. So we got Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Call of Duty Warzone, Fortnite, and No Man's Sky. I instantly choose No Man's Sky because they've really, like, out of all these games, they've pushed them. They've literally released like 3 games in the one. They've really outdone themselves in pushing back. So I hope they get it because they deserve it, honestly.
To be fair, they've gone from hardly a game to a competent game. And that's like, if they'd released a competent game in the first place, there wouldn't be as much room to grow.
No, but I think...
But yes, it is it has evolved the most over time.
Yeah.
Sorry, you first.
No, you go. I have nothing more to say.
I reckon it's going to be a 3-way tie between Apex Legends, Call of Duty, and Fortnite.
You're not wrong, given it's public voting.
Yeah.
Most likely Fortnite, the 12-year-olds getting their spam accounts open. Moving on to best...
I don't know. Call of Duty might catch up.
You never know. You never know. Like, honestly, I hope No Man's Sky, but yeah, like any of those top first three probably will get it, considering how big they are.
Yeah.
Best indie game. So we got this is that new game with the monster. Carrion.
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 Okay, thank you. Yeah, it looks really good. I fucking want to play it. Fall Guys, Ultimate Knockouts, Hades, Spelunky 2, and Spirit Feather. I choose Spelunky 2 simply because of retro indie stuff. You know, it's been a long time coming and they deserve, you know, there was a big game back in the day and good on them making a sequel. I don't think Fall Guys really should be best indie game. Like, it was a big viral game, but it's not exactly, you know, breaking new ground.
I've put way too many hours into Fall Guys.
Yeah, I know what one you're going to pick, man.
No, I didn't want to play it. I wanted to check how many hours I have.
Want to play some more now, Professor? Let's go.
Screw it. See you later.
Speaking of Fall Guys, did you guys hear about today how someone on Twitch got kicked out for cheating in Fall Guys?
Well, I'd be surprised.
I'm like, how can he cheat in Fall Guys, to be fair?
Because people love cheating, man.
There were a lot of hacks when it first came out.
Hackers be damned.
It was so bad. And they fixed it. And it became playable again.
But in terms of who might win this award, it's like I said, it's popular vote. So
it's probably Fall Guys.
It'd be Fall Guys. It'd be either Fall Guys or Carrion.
Yeah, I think Carrion I like to see win. It's so unique. But moving on.
You play the monster games.
Huh?
There's not many you play the monster games.
It's especially a unique 2D style sort of monster game. Like most of them are 3D.
Yeah. The last monster game I ever played, if I recall, it was Prototype. That was fun. Yeah,
I think I've seen that one, a while ago.
Yeah.
Anyways, on to best mobile game. Among Us, Call of Duty Mobile, Genshin Impact, Legends of
Runeterra.
Runeterra, thanks. And then Pokemon Cafe Mix, whatever the hell that is. I've never seen that before.
My girlfriend's been playing Pokemon Cafe. I don't know if it's Mix or not.
What is it? What is Pokemon Cafe Mix? Like, I know Pokemon Go. Look at me, I know my mobile gaming.
From what I've seen, it's this weird sort of Bejeweled type thing, but different.
I see, yeah.
It's
like, okay, so it's a puzzle game. I've heard of Among Us simply because for a mobile game, holy shoot, that has destroyed everything. I think
there's Genshin Impact, though.
I think Genshin Impact, like, I don't know, it's graphically better, but it's also very samey to a lot of other mobile games if you compare it to other ones that have been out before, right? Among Us was so unique in its concept, it just blew everything out of the water.
Yeah.
And I think the devs also deserve it after being such a small team and after 3 years of having nothing and then having this much exposure. They deserve an award. Yeah,
but here's the problem though. I find it such a bad thing that Among Us is part of the mobile game platform. Like, really? Is it a mobile game? Come on, let's be honest. Like,
well, it's available on mobile. You can play it on mobile. Like, would you play Call of Duty on mobile?
It's also free on mobile as well, so it's more players on mobile than it does on PC, I believe.
Yeah, but normally for mobile games, there's always that stigma when it comes to mobile games that it's just a cash grab.
Yeah, but also depends where you look. I mean, most mobile games are. Man, what's your thoughts on Genshin Impact being a mobile game then? Hey.
None of these are really
gacha game. As you said, it's a gacha game. So
you're not wrong. Yeah, I did say that. I talked my own foot. Anyway, we same Professor.
Pokemon Cafe is probably the closest to what I'd call a traditional mobile game. Anyway, like the others look like something that's ported off a console, which in the case of Call of Duty Mobile is actually true.
Yeah, true. Anyway, so let's move on to best community support. So this is the best outstanding support to the community, recognizing transparency, responsiveness, and inclusivity. So Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Fall Guys, Fortnite, No Man's Sky, and Valorant. I choose No Man's Sky again. This is how could you go from being the most hated game in 2017 to being the most liked game? Well, not most liked game, but your community going at that turnaround.
A few months after it came out, when they actually started communicating, it really became something different.
Yes.
Because up until it came out, they were lying, even on the day it came out, lying about how it worked and everything. So then they came out and admitted that they stuffed up and fixed it.
They'll fix it, which is you can't say for many games. Anyways, on to best VR/AR games. We got Dreams, which is sorry, just something to say. Sorry.
I was gonna say with community support, I reckon they're gonna put more emphasis on outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness. I reckon it'll be a 3-way tie with like Fall Guys, Fortnite, and Valorant. So yeah, but that's
True.
just me.
Fall Guys has had a very unique marketing and community response campaign going through. Destiny 2, haha, laughs. Yeah, man, that's a hard one. It really depends.
Destiny 2, the game that's got such a great developer, they're taking away half the game. Technically, it's because of storage concerns.
Yeah.
But I'm not happy about it.
I can tell, yeah. Hi, Bungie. Anyway, this category is easy to work out which one is the best game. So best VR/AR. So Dreams, which is a great game in itself. Half-Life Alyx, Marvel's Iron Man VR, Star Wars Squadrons, and The Walking Dead, Saints, and Sinners. It's Half-Life Alyx, man. What else are you going to choose? It's going to win.
Yeah, Alyx is the clear winner for this one. I mean, even though Star Wars Squadrons could be a close second.
Alex is going to get one award. I'm going to cry.
Yeah, well, I've seen videos of Saints and Sinners, and it looks good, but it still has clunkiness that I haven't seen in Alyx.
Yeah, Alyx has been polished to hell and back because it's a Valve game.
What do you guys think of the Iron Man VR?
It looks kind of generic to me, to be honest. There's already been a million VR games that's come out that do the exact same thing. This one just has Iron Man tagged on it.
Yeah, they did a Spider-Man a while back that I'd be more interested in playing.
Yeah,
because the web swinging is a more interesting movement mechanic than a jetpack.
Yeah.
Although, what would be interesting, though, I hope that, because Iron Man's thrusters are in his hands, aren't they?
Yes.
So I'd hope that you'd be able to steer by moving your arms. That would be cool.
That would be cool.
They're making jetpacks that actually do that now.
They do, yeah. You watched Tom Scott's video, didn't you?
Well, actually, I saw them a few weeks ago. Apparently, they're selling them to emergency services in England. Because then when you go to a national park and break your leg, they can zip someone up the mountain to check you out while you wait for the full rescue team to get there.
Oh my god! Okay, that's pretty cool. All right, on the next category, innovation accessibility, which is a pretty clear winner. So yeah, innovation accessibility basically is accessibility for people with disabilities and stuff like that. So it just helps everyone play the game in a wider audience, gives a wider audience to the game. So Assassin's Creed Valiant, Grounded, Hyperroot, Last of Us Part 2, and Watch Dogs Legions. And I think Last of Us Part 2 is a clear winner with their accessibility options.
That one's Hyperdot, not Hyperroot. But yeah, Last of Us has so many options.
Yes. I think, I'm glad to see Grounded is here because I saw the trailer, it looked really interesting, and I'm surprised it got won an award considering it was such a small game. They're still heavily in development. They just released a big update recently. Yeah. But I'm not aware of the accessibility in any of these other games. No. I just know Last of Us has so many options. Yeah. Okay, on the next category, Best Action. So we're getting a bit more fun times again. So you got Doom Eternal, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, what's this? Nitro 2?
Neo.
Neo 2. Okay. Team Ninja. Oh, okay. And then Streets of Rage 4. I personally voted for Streets of Rage 4 because it's the grandfather. And I have played it and I love Streets of Rage. So that's why I voted for that one. But yeah, what are you guys' thoughts?
I'd say it's a tie between Doom Eternal and Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah, most likely. I feel the same. Actually, no. I would say Half-Life Alyx not really because it's not really an action game. It's a horror game. It's more so. I mean, it has just shooting and stuff, but I guess in a way, that's a hard. Half-Life Alyx is a weird game. I can't really describe it, honestly. Like, Doom Eternal, I'm saying agree with, but like Half-Life Alyx is like, I don't know.
Yeah. Let's wrap it up. Let's wrap the other awards up before we. This is going to be a long night.
Holy shit!
There are a ton more. We will be here all night.
Yeah.
Although I just like to ask.
Okay, but let's go for the big one. Let's go for the big ones, like best family and best fighting. What do you reckon?
Of course, you pick the fighting one.
Yeah. I know the one you want to pick out. Let's do best role playing because we're all weebs here.
Well, I was going to say best strategy or strategy.
Okay.
So for best role playing, we've got Final Fantasy VII Remake, Genshin Impact, Persona 5, Wasteland 3, and Yakuza, which I love my Yakuza. I chose Genshin Impact because it's the only one I've played, and I loved it.
Yeah. I reckon it'll be Final Fantasy because it's
I agree.
it'd be everyone's favorite, and nostalgia coming through. Best fighting. What do you guys reckon?
Best fighting, Mortal Kombat. Everything else I haven't heard of.
Yep.
I don't even play fighting games, so I don't have any right to speak here.
Best family, I think, will be Animal Crossing.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Although that has terrible multiplayer features.
It's not multiplayer. It's best family. Don't let me know. Best sim, Microsoft Flight Simulator. Honestly.
Yeah, that's definitely up there.
Nothing else really compares. Best sport, Dirt 5's my thoughts because I love the Dirt series.
Yeah, but then FIFA, there's always FIFA and I don't know. That'll be an interesting one because FIFA and NBA have been really swamped with the loot boxes and stuff.
Yeah,
so yeah, it could be Dirt, it could be F1, or it could be Tony Hawk. I want Tony Hawk to win it.
Yeah,
Tony Hawk's done like the only one there that's different.
Sure.
Yeah. Formula One's the same year after year. FIFA's the same year after year.
Yeah. But yeah, what do you rate overall with the awards? You reckon? So you reckon
one more award?
Oh yeah,
best multiplayer.
Oh yeah,
Among Us, 100%.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I reckon Among Us might win it, but then again, you got Fall Guys, so it's going to be the tie between Fall Guys and Among Us. So
I think Among Us will have it based on popular vote. Fall Guys has kind of died after its survival. I really feel for the Fall Guys team. They must be so angry.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say it's died. It's not died anymore. I think, but it still has a really healthy player base.
Yeah, I think it's more. One thing is like you got this. It was really weird this year. Like you got really popular like Fall Guys. There's this small game, Among Us game, just comes out of nowhere. It's the imposter. It comes through, and just bursts everything. I'm like, what? But yeah, so that's the awards done.
Yep.
Thank you.
But yeah, as I was going to say, I reckon when it comes to overalls, I reckon we might see a bit. I hope we don't get another twist where it's like Red Dead Redemption wins all the other awards, and then best game of the year, God of War wins it.
I just want Razor Bro to win again. That's all. The Razor robot from 2 years ago. Anyways, yeah, I think overall it's pretty solid. I have no qualms what got nominated this year. I think no matter what wins deserves it. Everyone got nominated, at least they could throw that. So I think it's very reasonable.
Well, even though I bet you whoever wins these awards, there was going to be a lot of spending on it.
Oh, yeah.
Unlike EA with their new spending tool.
Keep working on it. Yeah, so FIFA is getting a tool called Playtime, which will let you limit how much money you can spend, how many loot boxes you can open, and how long you can play. So
basically, don't play our game. Thanks, Stacey. I'll take that advice from you.
Yeah, kind of surprised EA's doing this.
Yeah, especially on FIFA of all things.
It's not that I'm surprised because they're trying to circumvent the new laws and regulations that have been put in across Europe.
True.
It's the whole reason so they can basically say, we did stuff. Look. Yeah, it has that stuff, but we've added things in there to stop people from spending too much. So it's basically a whole way to keep the game in there and make them do minimal work instead of like just not selling it. So it's like, I see you doing there.
I like EA's message.
I suppose this is forcing them to take action. They don't like I was saying a few months back when we were talking about loot boxes. If the industry doesn't regulate itself, the government will. This is the industry trying to regulate itself. So I can't really criticize them too much.
No, at least they're doing something. That's what I think. My personal belief would be to strip it right back, but I mean that's never going to happen.
Yeah. I like how EA is quoting this by saying like the integration of both teams and limits in FIFA Playtime is grounded in research that shows that having access to more information helps players feel comfortable with how they play. Would they though? I mean, it could make them feel comfortable, but it can also make them feel like, okay, I need to spend more just to play more.
No, it's I don't think that's how it works at all. You can go in there if you feel like you have an issue with loot boxes or playtime, or if your parents do if you're young, because they are pushing awareness for parents. But I think the deal here is that you can go in there and set it to limit you to an hour a day or only open 5 loot boxes at a time. Of course, this is a bit silly on the back of EA advertising microtransactions to children in toy catalogs.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh. And then here's another quote. With combined with smart prompts to guide choices, players were able to better find the comfort balance in their gaming. We will continue to evolve and adapt these tools and resources to give you even more ways to shape your gaming experience.
How about you just don't?
Stop taking advantage of your players.
See, I think optics alone, this looks like a good idea, but I don't know in terms of application.
I think like they don't really care about application though. That's the thing. All they care about is getting it through into this regulated places now. And that's the whole reason they put their force in their hand to do this. So the minimal amount required for them is what they're going to do, basically. Like it's not out of the faith of their good heart that they're doing this. It's because of the regulation that the world's coming down on them. So
yeah,
I mean, if they did do more, go ahead. But I highly doubt it. Not to be like the cynical idiot. I'm so sorry, but like that's what I feel.
We all got a bit cynical here.
Do you guys reckon this will affect EA's bottom line?
Possibly, but I don't think much.
Minimally.
I think, minimally. Look, I think loot boxes and all stuff's why I don't buy AAA games anymore. I haven't bought any AAA games in like ages. It's not why I'm not getting PS5 or anything like that. Like I only play indies for the most part now, stuff on Steam, which I trust in loot boxes. I just don't. I play Genshin Impact, but I just don't. That's free to play. It's that whole paying money and then having to still have to pay money in the game. Like I would die to play Need for Speed Heat, but I know EA is once again twiddling their thumbs and are now implementing microtransactions and stuff back into it, trying to at least. It's just that whole, it's like, why am I paying this money for this stuff, man?
Well, how do you reckon the governments might react to this? You reckon they'll ease back in their lawsuits, or you reckon they'll still go, nah, screw you, you committed a crime?
I don't think they will. Like the whole reason pardon my yawn. The whole reason they're after them is after the loot box mechanics and the addiction. This doesn't really affect that. I think maybe some places, but not all.
If this becomes successful, which other franchise could you see this occur? Like, I know we're seeing this in the FIFA franchise right now, but I reckon it will hit the NFL franchise a lot.
It will hit everything that has loot boxes inside of it, I think. Anyone who's getting anything that's under fire and potentially getting banned, they'll implement this.
I reckon FIFA and the NBA will be would be one of the biggest hit. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the other franchises are, like NBA and NFL. Yeah, possibly. But could you see other game publishers copying this style though?
Yeah, I see it. If it's successful though.
Yeah, I think now EA's paved the way to actually doing something. I think a lot of other developers will copy them.
Yeah, my biggest worry is how long is this system going to be in there for? Like, is this going to be like, no one's paying attention to our things. Okay, we'll just take away the platform. We'll take away this tool. We don't need it anymore.
I don't think they'll do that. I mean, they'll love to, but they did that. I mean, world of hurt.
That's true.
It's like, well, you broke the law, EA. Class action lawsuit. Woof.
And also, like, in addition, EA is setting up a page on its website to inform parents about various hardware level spending, playtime, rating, and communication controls that platform holders have built into their systems.
Yeah, that's good. Make sure the parents understand, because it's the parents who suffer when their kid spends $1,000 on loot boxes.
But this reminds me of that report that I saw a while ago where kids are now subjected to spend like 5 hours a day of playing video games.
Yeah, maybe that's a bit too much.
Yeah.
Between like school and work and games, 5 hours is quite a bit. But, if you're a responsible adult, that's your choice.
Suck it, Redditors.
Although it's not as insane as China with when it comes to gaming controls. Games under 18 will be banned from playing online between 2200 and 8 o'clock. They'll be restricted to 90 minutes of gaming on weekdays and 3 hours on weekends and holidays. Do you reckon it's a bit of a copy?
What do you mean a bit of a copy?
Like limiting the game times and restricting game times.
Do you mean a cop-out?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, I think ultimately, I don't think the government should be getting that involved in what people do. I think, but then not everyone has parents who are good enough to, or involved enough to help a kid learn the right boundaries for hobbies and work.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's a really hard question, I think.
Yeah, I think they're not in the case to really answer that one correctly.
Yeah. So China's doing this sort of stuff, and it's hard to say you support China doing something.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only the genocides and the killing thousands of protesters. And
how dare you say such lies?
Hey, remember last time we said something about China? We got lots of views.
Yeah, that's because they have better computers to understand that.
Man, well, watch out, the bots are listening.
Yeah, we mentioned China in our show notes or something, and we got hundreds of views from China. No comments or anything, just lots of views from people who might not even have been able to understand us.
All right, let's make sure we spam it multiple times this time.
But yeah, it'd be interesting how the game prices would also be increased when you add in the tool as well.
How would they be increased?
Like additional maintenance cost for the tool, if it's digital.
I don't think it's going to be really a whole lot. It's really just setting some flags to not allow a person's account to go over X amount of spending.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of maintenance there, and what there is, they'll just absorb, because it's better for them to do this than it is for the law to come in and stop them from doing it at all.
That's fair. And speaking of the law, we've got a movie involving aliens and the law, and it's a live action movie of a Disney kind.
And we're done here.
All right, guys, the back door's that way. Let's move out.
Damn, I suck at the segues. So, if for those not familiar, Lilo and Stitch is coming into a live action format.
This is a mistake.
And one director is in talks with directing this live action movie. It is the guy behind Crazy Rich Asians. That's going to be.
Don't do it, Disney.
Don't do it, Disney. So Dan Lin and John Elrick of Rideback, the banner behind the billion-dollar grossing live-action remake of Aladdin, are producing this movie. Rideback's Ryan Halpern is executive producing. And the original film was written and directed by Dean DeBlois and Chris Sanders, who found acclaim with How to Train Your Dragon. This Hawaii-centric story is told from a bond between the lonely human girl named Lilo and a dog-like alien named Stitch, who was engineered to be a force of destruction. It wasn't a big success in the box office standards. The well-regarded movie was a bright spot for the down period of Disney's animation history.
Yeah, this is the down period of Disney's live-action remakes.
Yeah, there's no word on when this will be released theatrically, or whether it will be on Disney. But yeah,
it'll be on Disney. Like
Disney
theatrical
Plus,
releases is being destroyed.
Yeah,
because they tried. What was they trying to release? It was some movie.
Mulan.
No, it was Mulan. It's a different movie. They tried releasing it in theaters and it just bombed like terribly. And then since then, everyone's just given up on theaters.
Tenet.
That's the one. Yeah, they released it.
Yeah, that movie with all the hype, and then it actually comes out and nobody goes to see it because Rona.
And then now all the movie studios are like, oh no.
Yeah, we're gonna just do this next year. Just forget this year ever happened.
Apparently, they're saying that the new James Bond movie might bring in people.
Yeah, James Bond has probably more fan recognition than Christopher Nolan, but I don't think anything's going to bring it back at the moment. Meanwhile, in Australia, with our nearly COVID-free status, we can go and see the movies, but we can't see them because America and the other countries won't get that together. Can you tell I'm still bitter about June being delayed?
Which stage of grief are you in now?
Rage.
Still?
Always.
See, what do you guys reckon? A live-action Lilo and Stitch? You reckon it's a...
No, you see, the problem is, I was going to go see it for my birthday, but now my girlfriend's got to find something else to get me. And that's
you poor man.
completely throwing her plans out of whack, right? She had plans and then they ruined them.
What do you reckon? Another live action Disney movie. I mean,
It'll make money. Everyone will hate it. Everyone will sound like the worst thing ever, and then everyone will forget about it, and they'll never speak of it again.
When are people going to learn this lesson? It makes $1 billion, but everyone hates it. At least this one hopefully won't have anyone saying China's right. Although, to be fair, there is a evil space empire trying to capture a creature to lock it up and torture it.
You're not wrong.
See, here's the problem with most of the Disney live actions. They try to make it as accurate as the film, but
what about Mulan? Mulan wasn't anywhere near as accurate to the animation.
What are you saying? How dare you?
Jungle Book's pretty accurate.
Lion King,
it's more accurate to the book than the animation, but
yeah. Oh, the same with Mulan as well. It was more accurate to the
legend.
To the legend.
Mulan's like, we're going to make an accurate movie to the legend, and we're going to take out all the mystical stuff like the talking dragon, and then just gave her bloody superpowers anyway.
Hey, can you imagine this one? Lilo has superpowers. Lilo was the alien all along.
Just do Freaky Friday, but instead it's Lilo and Stitch getting mind swapped. Copyright me.
You said it here, folks. You now know. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Relax. Don't do it. Sorry, that just came right into my head.
Well, hopefully that song could be one of those scientists when they make one thing that might be the next step in human evolution, human monkey hybrids.
It's not really human evolution, it's more for uplifting the monkeys. And it is the exact kind of terrifying mad science I love. It's full of ethical issues, but it's incredible mad science.
Oh, no.
They injected human gene, not literally injected, but, they put together a genome consisting of part monkey genes and part human genes to see if it would grow a bigger brain. And it did. And then at 100 days, they're kind of like, well, letting it be born would be crossing a line, so we're going to abort it.
Oh.
Yeah, as if doing it in the first place wasn't going to cross a line for a lot of people.
What is that classic line in those horror movies? Perhaps there are some things man was never meant to tamper with.
Yeah, and as we were discussing the other night, this is basically Island of Dr. Moreau.
Although in the Island of Dr. Moreau was they had they had the looks of the monkeys and humans, but they had the intelligence of none though.
Were they just completely stupid?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so the Facebook commenters. Yes, in this case, they're specifically looking for brain activity. It's kind of horrifying. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it.
So the next thing you know, we'll either be dancing into Planet of the Apes territory or even worse.
Yeah, well, it's also interesting because if these creatures, these hybrids, had been brought to term and successfully bred, because I'm sure there's all sorts of issues with mixing different species DNA and seeing what comes out. But if they come out and survive, what is their place in society? How intelligent are they actually going to be? Are they going to be monkeys with human intelligence? Are they going to be slightly smarter monkeys? Are we going to use them as slave labor? Why is Amazon investing in this?
Why does this remind me of Futurama? Remember when the professor makes a monkey, and at the end,
the monkey with the smartness hat.
Yeah, and he goes, "I'm going to join business school." And the professor's like, "No!"
Yeah, that episode had some great jokes.
But the results from what I'm seeing here, it's the size of the monkey's neocortex increased, folding of the brain similar to how a human brain is folded was induced, the relative progenitive cell type which produces neurons was increased, Specifically, it increased upper layer neurons, which neurons that increase during evolution. This shows basically that the gene and its expression in humans is sufficient to expand and to fold the primate or the monkey brain.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Have you seen the? I know it's not. I know it's the same thing as the gorillas, but it's a classic movie, Planet of the Apes. Don't.
Yep. I fear what's gonna happen from this.
Thanks, science.
But what do you reckon is gonna what they were saying here that there's some ethical questions, but what ethical questions do you reckon that will come up?
Well, like I mentioned, what is their place in society? Are they given full rights as humans? Are they treated as pets?
Oh boy, I can see the animal rights activists coming at us right now.
Oh yeah, this would get them really riled up.
No. You know what will get them really, you know what group will get really, really riled up? The Christian protesters.
That's a good question. Do these monkeys have souls? Let's bring in the religious element. Do the monkeys have souls? Can man create life? All those dramatic things they used to say in movies, but are now going to say in real life because scientists couldn't stop themselves.
I can imagine someone would go like, "You played God! You played God!"
Yeah, probably.
But it does show potential that it could help. It could enter into the role of maybe spare parts, kind of
Throwing
way.
the monkey for organs for humans.
Yeah, like what happened with the pigs, for example. Like,
that's an interesting question. Yeah, if they created a sort of like, it probably wouldn't be monkey based, but they've talked about growing organs with stem cells to create an organ that won't be rejected. What if it turns out the cheapest and easiest way is to not grow a clone of a human, but to take human DNA and mix it with something else and make an organ donor creature?
This is going places I'd rather not go. I don't think about the murdering of monkeys for organ harvesting.
Oh.
The other question is, can the monkeys compete in sports with humans?
Okay, now we're just going to the next levels.
This is already an issue with trans people because
what?
There's a big debate about whether can trans people compete in sport, and which side should they compete under? Should they compete under their original gender or the one they transition to? And
can I just make a new category?
I think there should be a new category of. I think that's the easiest way to handle it, because if otherwise you're dealing with biological differences that can't be overcome by the transitioning process at the moment.
Yeah.
And I think if they made a sector for just trans athletes, that would be probably the fairest option for everyone.
Hopefully. I mean, who knows? Hi, Olympics. What are you doing?
Could these monkeys enter the Olympics?
It'll be quite a monkey show.
All right, that's it. See you next time. See you, folks.
That's all, folks. Bye-bye.
Yeah, we are getting way too into the deep philosophy right now.
All right, guys, moving on.
Oh, yeah. So, what game have you been playing, Devi boy?
What am I playing this week? Oh, shit.
You forgot the ad break.
Ad break?
Yeah, and now for our quick message from our sponsors.
Does anyone know what ads we actually get?
What ads? What?
I have no idea.
I'm really curious now.
I didn't realize it.
So, Devi boy, what have you been playing?
Me? I've been playing a few games. I have mostly been playing War Thunder. I want to try something with tanks in it. And it's fun. And now I've had my fun, I don't like it anymore.
Yeah, War Thunder's nice as long as you don't really get into it, because then you deal with the grind.
Yeah.
If you only want to play it once every now and then, that's fine, because you don't have to wait for the characters to, the vehicles to repair.
Exactly. I basically downloaded it, give it a shot, tried out all the different, oceans, the flying and the tanks and stuff. I had some fun, won a few rounds, and now I'm done with it. It's just too much fucking grind, just simply. There's just so much grind. It just hurts.
Yeah, have you tried the other options, like the planes options?
As I said, I've done
Even
all
the
the
planes.
I've done everything. Like, it's just so much grind, and it's kind of just like, I can't be bothered.
I used to play it a few years back, and too much grind. Russian vehicles have OP armor for some reason.
Yeah.
Totally not the developers Russian.
Mm-hmm. I've been playing as the British, and it's kind of like, that's all right. But it's just like, yeah. So I'm just like, nah, I'll give it a 3 out of 5, probably.
Yeah.
Like, the gameplay's solid, but the grind just kills it. It's just not fun after like the first 6 hours.
Besides the grind, what's the other biggest problem you encountered in that game?
Bugs and balancing. Holy crap.
What I'm disappointed about with War Thunder is that, like I said, the gameplay's solid. It's a pretty solid multiplayer air combat, multiple doctrines now, but it used to be only air when I played it. It's a really good multiplayer sort of simulation style game, but it's on that more simulation than arcadey if you play on the harder difficulties, but not so difficult you need a degree to play it. Like DCS, you need to actually read the manual for how to fly the plane to figure it out. War Thunder, you can just kind of hop in and go mostly, and I'm disappointed there's no good option for that anymore. What
I miss is they don't have any battles where you fight tanks, planes, and boats at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a missed opportunity, but that's what's there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then being a plane in a tank battle is like a power-up.
Actually, not really. Considering in the plane or in a tank battle, yeah, the boat battles are a story because all the boats, all the battleships have the artillery cannons that auto fire. A plane in the boat missions is high fly. But in the tank battles, like no one can shoot you down, so you're flippily.
Yeah, there's a few anti-air tanks or vehicles that they have, but no one takes them because there's not enough aircraft to be worth it. Yeah. So when the aircraft do come out, no one can actually fight back.
Yeah, it just destroys the whole game. Like, if you combined it with other aircraft and the boats as well as tanks, it'll balance itself out probably because the boats would shoot the airplanes and,
Yeah, if the aircraft had to actually worry about other aircraft, they would have less time to bomb the tanks.
Yeah, and then you could add a thing where, like, okay, perhaps you can have then, I'm pretty sure they already do, but don't they already have, you can have, like, battle barges and things where you have, like, more planes you can fly off from. What do you call it?
Oh, yeah,
air carriers. Yeah, or then you can have the exact same thing. You have, like, a tank carrier, right? You can dock at a beach and you just unload a whole army. Like, that would be cool. That would be cool. But there's so many missed opportunities. They got the mechanics there already. It'll take nothing to get these game modes working. I normally complain when World War II games add D-Day because it's been done so many times. But I would love to play a combined arms D-Day with every character being a human. I've done it in Armour, and we didn't have human aircraft or anything, but it was cool. Yeah. Anyway, so what's you been guys playing?
I've been playing MK11. And I know it's a pretty old game, but they've got some interesting stuff that came out yesterday, and that is Rambo comes into Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah, I saw that. How is it? Have you bought them?
I bought the combat pack and stuff, and it's when you have Stallone doing the voice in the game, it's really interesting.
Good or bad?
It's good, interesting.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, but like he's got all these references in the movie from not only in the Rambo movie but other movies as well. Mm-hmm. There's also they've also other characters that got added, like two fan favorites, Rain as well and Melina. She's also in the game as well. So yeah, that's the good part. The bad part about it when you have Rambo is that he doesn't really. There's not much powers to him. Like, with Mortal Kombat, it's always, yes, these people are superhuman powers, that and thing. Rambo is just, I have a knife and a gun. What can I do?
Not much.
Yeah.
You can take out a GTA level of police. Seriously, do the police ever stop coming?
In GTA?
In Rambo or GTA?
Okay, speaking of Rambo, I'm going to do a quick tangent here. Okay, so the game I found the other day was the new Terminator game, Terminator Resistance, I think it was.
Yeah.
So it's made by the same devs that made the shitty Rambo game a few years ago, the on-rail shooter one.
Oh, that's terrible.
But Terminator Resistance is flipping amazing. Okay, it's one of those things where put it this way. So out of 2-star reviewers on Metacritic, IGN gave it, I think it was a 3. And overall, Metacritic it's like a 4 or something. I mean,
is that for Rambo?
The Terminator game they just made. So they made a Terminator license game.
Terminator's not well rated, but you like it.
Wait. So it's rated a 4 on IGN.
Oh, 5?
On Steam, it's rated a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
1,000 to 3,000 reviewers or something.
Yeah, I was thinking out of 10, so that confused me a bit.
Yeah, mind you, this is the same studio that this is the same studio that made the Rambo rail shooter, and it was abysmal.
Yeah, we were just discussing that.
Really? Oh, okay.
Sometimes I feel like you're Cleverbot.
Well, thank you.
No, Cleverbot's dumb.
I know, I was being sarcastic.
There are better ways to do AI these days. Yeah, so Cleverbot just looks dumb now.
Yeah, Terminator Resistance, 4,000 reviews. It is very, very positive. 9 out of 10, and it's like it's one of those situations. Like, it's a really good game if you want to play. Like, it's bare bones, but for Terminator, it's the best thing since the second film. So I just say that's a good thing to do. Anyways, tangent over. Back to that. My apologies.
But so I'm gonna rate mine. 3.5 out of 5. They could do better work, but we might see more patches coming out. So, what have you been playing, Professor?
I want you to guess.
Fall Guys.
No.
Metro.
Yes.
You are so in love with that game.
How could you not?
Someone help this poor man.
Yeah. So at the moment, I'm doing probably the most linear of the open world levels. So most of the open world levels, you have the train as a base, and you go from the train out and do a mission. Sometimes you come back to the train in between, but you can go out and do missions and in whatever order you want, explore wherever you want. This one is, plot-wise, you're going from point A to point B, so it's relatively narrow and straight compared to the other maps. But plot-wise, it fits well. I'm just kind of a little disappointed that it's not more open. It's still a good level, though, but it's quite long and sort of wearing thin on me, I think. I enjoy stealthy missions in the other levels, but not this one so much. I'm not sure why. Just one of those things.
You can't see any big flaws in that game, besides the usual suspects?
No, don't think there's anything really to add there.
So 4 out of 5?
4.3 out of 5, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember I took a bit away for it, crashing a lot. Don't think I've had any bugs in this level, which is a nice improvement. I mean, there's a lot of levels where I haven't had bugs, but they're mainly the smaller linear segments. But this one is an open world level without bugs, so that's an improvement.
Fair enough. So on to our shout-outs. On the 15th of November 2020, Halo Combat Evolved on the original Xbox turns 19. Developed by Bungie, the title would quickly become one of the most beloved games on the console, spawning a massive franchise for Microsoft.
That was 19 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. Combat's not evolved anymore. It's died of old age.
It's credited for modernizing the FPS genre. The game's popularity led to labels such as Halo Clone and Halo Killer applied to games.
I wouldn't say it modernized the genre, considering Half-Life did everything it did 3 years earlier.
Would it though? I mean,
okay. It modernized the genre on consoles. It was the thing that brought shooters to consoles. It didn't modernise the shooter genre, but modernized the shooter genre for consoles, I think. Like, Half-Life modernized the general shooter in general, but then Halo is what brought those mechanics to the console and actually made a compelling console shooter that rivaled the PC market. Even
then, before that, Half-Life was going to get a console release, so imagine if that happened and it completely overshadowed Halo. It would be in such a different world.
But its sequel, Halo 2, was released for the original Xbox in 2004, and the game spawned a multi-billion-dollar multimedia franchise. One of the inspirations was used in a fan-created Red vs. Blue video series, which which is credited as one of the first major successes of machinima, the technique of using real-time 3D image engines, often from video games, to create animated films. Did you guys ever watch that series?
I've watched bits of it. So if you haven't read Larry Niven, go do it, because Larry Niven is where the idea for Halo, Halo borrows from a lot of Golden Age sci-fi, but the Halo itself is straight up Larry Niven, and the Ringworld books are great, so if you haven't read them, go do it.
Okay. On the 15th of November 2020, Space Jam turns 24. So, Space...
Are you feeling old now, Debbie?
Oh, my God. Space Jam released 24 years ago, and fans are celebrating a 90s touchstone. The film presents a fictionalized account of what happened between Jordan's initial retirement from NBA in 1993 and his 1995 comeback, in which he's enlisted by Looney Tunes to help them win a basketball match against a group of aliens.
You know, the website is still up, and it's still exactly the same as it was.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you know about this? Man, what rock you learning on, man?
I just heard about the whole Heaven's Gate cult website still going.
That website's still going.
Oh, Space Jam's still up, man.
Space Jam's a bit more frivolous, though.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. So the film was a box office success, opening at number 1 in North American box office and grossed $230 million. It later expanded into a media franchise, which included comics and games. And it's estimated to have generated $6 billion in total revenue, and it includes a wide variety of merchandise such as Air Jordans, Bugs Bunny shirts, Happy Meals, Muggsy Bogus jerseys, and Tweety gowns. And now there's going to be a sequel.
Uh-huh.
Oh God!
And I'm crying.
Yeah.
It's not going to be Jordan though. It's LeBron James, from what I recall, and the jerseys look terrible.
I love this website, though. It's so 90s. Click above to find out more about our sponsors and the various hip sites that make WB Online the jammin' place it is.
Wow.
Jammin' place it is.
Wow, I feel so hip.
How long has it been since you've heard someone call someone hip unironically?
Jesus Christ, man. It's been 20 years.
Yeah. I feel like someone will go like, hey, the 90s called. They want their hip back.
Oh no, please stop saying it.
I think your grandma will want a hip back as well.
So on the 16th of November 2020, Qantas celebrates its 100th anniversary. And it still calls Australia home.
Please stop. You just broke the microphone. My ears in pain. They're bleeding out. The blood's flowing across the floor.
Oh, we're going to need a new co-host.
So it started as a dream to link outback towns by air and grew into a global icon, flying more than 50 million passengers a year around the world. Over the past century, the legacy of Qantas has grown to become much more than an airline. The Flying Kangaroo is now a globally recognized brand. The airline was formed in Western Australia, a good-natured outback town. Oh, Western Queensland, sorry.
I was going to say, considering it's the Queensland and Northern Territory air service, it would be a bit odd to be founded in WA.
So there are three towns that laid the claim to the birthplace of Qantas: Longreach, Cloncurry, and Winton, located in the state's remote outback, each saying that they're the true home of the national air carrier. In 1934, Qantas and British Imperial Airways formed a new company, Qantas Empire Airways Limited. And in 1947, QEA was nationalised by the Australian government, led by Prime Minister Ben Chifley at the time. It was Qantas Limited was then wound up, and after nationalisation, Qantas' remaining domestic network in Queensland was transferred to the nationally owned Trans-Australian Airlines, leaving Qantas as a purely international network. And in 1957, a head office, Qantas House, was opened in Sydney.
So according to legend, which I think is actually true, Qantas has never had a jet aircraft crash.
Yeah. Although there was that time when the smoke was coming out of the cabins at one point.
They
Yeah,
haven't
that
near
happens.
crashes, but
Bad
they've
things
done-
happen, but they never actually, kill anyone.
Yeah.
Qantas has never had a fatal jet airline accident. They had a couple of fatal propeller accidents.
hello there, Malaysian Airlines. Yeah, you want to file a complaint? Okay.
Yes, Malaysian Airlines, here's someone to look up to. To be fair, neither incident's entirely their fault. Like, the first one was a suicidal pilot. The second one was flying over a war zone and getting shot down.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
most
wait.
airline.
There.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's something interesting.
Are they
So
still
what-
business?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm surprised. They've done that.
Here's something interesting.
Okay.
While Qantas never had a fatal jetliner aircraft, the Australian Airlines suffered several losses in the early days before the widespread adoption of the jet in the civil aviation.
DJ, are you just repeating everything I say tonight?
Yes.
Are you even trying?
I'm
You need
trying.
more sleep, man.
When does he try, man?
Well, there are some key dates. There are some interesting dates there, and yeah.
Yeah, and you'll know that there's been none since 1951.
Nope.
The de Havilland Dragon, that's a nice plane.
Onto our remembrances, 16th of November 1950. Bob Smith. Robert Holbrook Smith, also known as Dr. Bob, was an American physician and surgeon who founded Alcoholics Anonymous with Bill Wilson, more commonly known as Bill W., and a nurse, Sister Ignatia.
And that's the song we came up with. Bob the Doctor, can we drink it?
Smith began drinking in college, attending college in New Hampshire. Early on, he noticed that he could recover from drinking bouts quicker and easier than his classmates, and never had headaches, which caused him to believe he was an alcoholic from the time he began drinking. Recognizing the problem, he checked himself into more than a dozen hospitals and sanitariums in an effort to stop his drinking. He was encouraged by the passage of Prohibition in 1919, but soon discovered that the exemption for medicinal alcohol and bootleggers could supply more than enough to continue his excessive drinking. Man!
Yeah. I think it's funny that he's like, well, I don't get hangovers, so I must be an alcoholic. I mean, I don't get hangovers, but I'm not an alcoholic.
So the 17 years of his life, it revolved around him subverting his wife's efforts to stop him from drinking and obtain the alcohol he craved for. Wow.
Yeah, I hope they had a good relationship because, that can really mess up your relationship, hiding alcoholism.
Yeah, but 17 years, wow, that's an achievement in itself.
I mean, it kind of is, but it's not one we want to celebrate.
No, that's true. So he met Brian Wilson in May 12, 1935. Wilson was an alcoholic who had learned how to stay sober, thus far only for some limited amounts of time, through the Oxford group in New York, and was close to discovering long-term sobriety by helping other alcoholics. Smith was called the Prince of 12-Steppers by Wilson because he helped more than 5,000 alcoholics before his death. He died from colon cancer at the age of 71 in Akron, Ohio.
Yeah, there's a lot of criticism about Alcoholics Anonymous, but for the people they have been able to help, I'm sure it's made a difference.
Yeah. Although I like The Simpsons how they make jokes about Alcoholics Anonymous at times, but yeah, that's another time. 16th of November 1999, Daniel Nathans, American microbiologist, he shared the 1978 Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine for the discovery of restriction enzymes and their application in restriction mapping. Wanting to break from his medical residency, he became a clinical associate at the National Cancer Institute at National Institute of Health in Bethesda, Maryland. He split his time between caring the patients and researching on recently discovered plasma cell tumors in mice, similar to human multiple myeloma. Nathans was also given 6 honorary doctorates over the span of his career. He died from leukemia at the age of 71 in Baltimore, Maryland. In the 16th of November 2005, Henry Taub, a Canadian-born American chemist noted for having been awarded the 1983 Nobel Prize in Chemistry for his work in the mechanisms of electron transfer reactions, especially in metal complexes. He has held over 600 publications, including one book, and mentored over 200 students during his career. Taub's interest in coordination chemistry was sparked when he discovered a course on advanced inorganic chemistry while at the University of Chicago. He was unable to find much information in the textbooks available at the time. So he realized his work on substitution could be related to inorganic chemistry. His discovery was a way of molecules to build a chemical bridge rather than simply exchanging electrons as previously thought. And so his paper in Chemical Reviews was developed while in sabbatical, and an article in Science called this paper one of the true classics in inorganic chemistry. After winning the prize. After being awarded, Talbot noticed a side benefit to the prestigious award. His students paid better attention in class. He died at the age of 89 in Palo Alto, California. I'm not
going to judge. If that's what it takes to get people to pay attention to you, go get a PhD.
Good on you, man.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, you fellas, imagine you getting like PhDs and all of a sudden you start lecturing and they start looking at you?
I mean, I feel like if I walked in and started lecturing, people would be looking at me because I'm not a real professor.
So on to our famous birthday.
And they'd be like, what are you doing here?
So on to our famous birthdays. 16th of November 1914, Eddie Chapman, an English criminal and wartime spy. During the Second World War, he offered his services to Nazi Germany as a spy and subsequently became a British double agent. His British Secret Service handlers codenamed him Agent Zigzag, in acknowledgement for his rather erratic personal history. He was a safecracker during the early days, and the gangs utilized gelignite to gain entry to safes, leading Chapman and his associates to be known as the Jelly Gang. Man, they such good names. So yeah, he was arrested. So he was dining with his lover and future fiance at the Hotel de la Plage immediately before his arrest, and he saw plainclothes officers coming to arrest him for crimes on the mainland. Made a spectacular exit by running through the dining room window, which was shut at the time. Man, this sounds like an action movie. So during the Second World War, he was involved in doping of dogs and greyhound racing and was associated with criminal elements in the West End nightclubs. He was also discreet about the sources of his income, so MI5, being unable to control him, dismissed him, and they gave him a £6,000 payment from MI5 and was allowed to keep the £1,000 of the money of the Germans that gave him. And he was granted a pardon for his pre-war activities and was reported by MI5 to be living in fashionable places in London, always in the company of beautiful women of apparent culture. He had two fiancées at the same time, each in opposing war zones. He was still betrothed to Frida Stevenson in Britain when he met Dragma Lalum in Norway. Stevenson was being financially assisted through MI5 and Lalum was being treated by von Groening. He abandoned both women after the war and instead married his former lover Betty Farmer, whom he left in a hurry at the hotel. He was born in Brunopfield. Man, that should be a movie in itself, man.
This is a hell of a story.
16th of November 1944, Oliver Britick, British developmental psychologist who is involved in research on infant visual perception. He specialized in infant vision, especially visual and visuomotor development of the dorsal and ventral streams in infants and children. In addition to working on infant vision, he and his colleagues showed the adults attempting to grab a glowing item in the dark had longer reach duration, lower average speed, as well as lower peak speed versus the same situation in the light. According to Braddock, reliable motion perception needs a number of processes that integrate and combine visual motion signals from neighboring locations within the field of vision. This has the same effect of smoothing out spatial variations in velocity. He was born in England. Yeah,
it's really interesting how little of what your eyes see is actually, like, how much post-processing there is for what your eyes see.
Oh, it's tons.
Basically, the image you see in your brain is almost nothing like what your eyes actually detect.
Yeah, I mean, our brains must have multiple terabytes of data to process, and trying to get it perfectly done is impossible. Impossible to replicate in an android.
Yeah. Also, human brains are water cooled.
That's
what do you
true.
think the blood's for?
That's true. That is actually true. On the 16th of November 1952, Shigeru Miyamoto, Japanese video game designer, producer, and game director at Nintendo, where he serves one of its representative directors. He's the creator of some of the most acclaimed and best-selling game franchises of all time, including Mario and The Legend of Zelda.
How can one person have, such a hits list?
Oh, it's Nintendo. They're great. So the games helped Nintendo and the NES to dominate the console game market, especially after the video game crash of 1983. His games have been flagships of every Nintendo video game console from the arcade machines of the late 1970s to the present day. Miyamoto and Nintendo as a whole do not use focus groups. Instead, Miyamoto figures out if a game is fun for himself, he says that if he enjoys it, others will too. He elaborates, citing the conception of the Pokemon series as an example. And that's the point, not to make something sell something very popular, but to love something and make something that we creators can love. It's the very core feeling we should have in making games. Miyamoto wants players to experience Kyokan. He wants the players to feel about the games what the developers felt themselves. He then tests it with family and friends. He encourages younger developers to consider people who are new to gaming, for example, to have them switch their dominant hand with their other hand to feel the experience of an unfamiliar game. He was born in Sonobe, Kyoto. What a legend. And now to our events of interest. 16th of November 1849, Fyodor Dostoevsky is sentenced to death. On the 16th of November 1849, a Russian court sentenced Fyodor Dostoevsky to death for his allegedly anti-government activities linked to a radical intellectual group. His execution stayed at the last minute. And on December 22nd, 1849, Dostoevsky was led before the firing squad, but received a last-minute reprieve and was sent to the Siberian labor camp, where he was worked for 4 years. He was released in 1854 and worked as a soldier on the Mongolian frontier. He married a widow and finally returned to Russia in 1859.
Imagine being in front of the firing squad and instead of being shot, just hearing them go, pew, pew, pew.
It's like, April Fools! Oh, that would be great. In 1866, he published Crime and Punishment, one of his most popular works. In 16th of November 1945, German scientists brought to the United States to work on rocket technology. In a move that stirred up controversy as part of Operation Paperclip, the United States ships 88 German scientists to America to assist the nation in production of rocket technology. Most of the men have served under the Nazi regime, and critics in the United States questioned the morality of placing them in the service of America. Realizing the importation of scientists who had recently worked in the Nazi regime and so hated by Americans was a delicate public relationship situation. The U.S. military cloaked the operation in secrecy, and in announcing a plan, a military spokesperson merely indicated that some German scientists who had worked on rocket development had volunteered to come to the United States and work for a very moderate salary. They volunteered.
But the alternative was not having a job because the government you worked for was being destroyed or being picked up by the Soviets.
Upon their arrival in the United States on November 16, newsmen and photographers were not allowed to interview or photograph the newcomers. The U.S. government continued to remain somewhat vague about the situation, stating only that certain outstanding German scientists and technicians were being imported in order to take full advantage of these significant developments, which are deemed vital to our national security. And man, what developments they made.
Yes, and it's so rather poignant that it's happened this week, isn't it? That they've had the second launch of Crew Dragon with a crew.
Yeah.
Its first operational launch. And I think it was ULA launched a flight as well this week. Yeah,
they launched Atlas V with new solid rocket boosters. And finally, on the 16th of November 1984, Night of the Comet was released. This cult classic premiered in theaters. And it's a science fiction comedy horror film written and directed by Thomas. I'm not going to try remember. Tom, whatever the name is. I'm not going to try. And this is the plot. It's the first comet to buzz our planet Earth in 65 million years. And everyone seems to be celebrating its imminent arrival. Everyone except Regina Belmont and her younger sister Samantha, two Valley girls who care about fashion trends rather than celestial phenomena. But upon daybreak, when the girls discover that they're the only residents of Los Angeles whom the comet hasn't vaporized or turned into a zombie, they would do what all Valley girls do. They go shopping. However, with the help of a friendly truck driver, the girls save Earth and escape from flesh-eating zombies and blood-seeking scientists in hot pursuit. Now, the comet grossed $14.4 million in the US on a $700,000 budget, and it's been considered a cult classic, influencing the creation of Buffy Summers. And here's some interesting facts. So while writing the screenplay, the director asked teenagers for their input on what would they do if they survived the end of the world. And brick dust was used to represent the dust that humans and animals turned into after being exposed to the comet trail.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me. It's sort of have you ever heard of the movie The Quiet Earth?
No.
Okay, it's a sci-fi movie where this guy wakes up and he's the only person left on Earth. Everyone else has gone missing. And right at the beginning, he basically does his bucket list. He goes and buys clothes and drives a train. Basically does whatever he wants to.
Yeah, but isn't that similar to like I Am Legend and Omega Man and all those ones?
Probably.
I understand why now. See, okay. No, tangent, Brad. I love filling this runtime out. I try to install Genshin Impact to my phone, right? And I now see why. I can never see it when I search the App Store apart from on PC.
Your phone doesn't support it?
Uh-huh.
What model is your phone?
It's an Oppo mid-range one, so it's only like $250. So it's just not powerful enough.
How old is it?
Like a year.
Wow.
Yeah, it doesn't support it. So only high-end phones are allowed in Genshin Impact, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
This app's incompatible with all your devices. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm fucking poor. I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, man. Anyways, yeah. Let you finish up. Sorry, man.
Oh, that's okay. So that's all we have for this week. They can find us on they can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. They can find us on that's.canada.com, where we have an archive of our old episodes. They can also find us on Pod Hero.
On Pod Hero for $5 a month, you can support us and other That's Not Canon podcasts. Your subscription is split between the podcast. Oops. Your subscription is split between the podcasts that you listen to.
Give us money, please. We're dying. We have the rice machine's broken and we're run out of rice.
I mean, I've got a bit of blubber to keep me going, but DJ is not looking good.
Oh, help me.
Looks
Help
pretty
me.
tasty, I'll be honest.
Might have to turn to cannibalism.
Please.
And the new That's Not Canon podcast this week is Drowning Verdict, about true crime in depth. It's hosted by author Charles Mahoney, named after his upcoming novel.
So that's all we have for today. Take care of yourselves, stay hydrated, and hooroo!
We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye. Please give money. We're dying. I need the rice. Run fast. Anyways, yes, we are.